Okay, the town pier, we have 100 slips, and we have people tie up here for, they can lease a slip for a season. We have some commercial guys down on our floating dock. The recreational people are both on the fixed pier and on the floating dock as well. And it's where they tie up. The lease goes from May 15th, typically. This year's a little different, but typically goes from May 15th till October 15th. And then in the wintertime, we host the scallop boats that want to tie up here.
Now, what kind of money do we generate from the town pier?
A significant amount, because each lease is like, for the recreational boats right now, it's $80 a foot per season. And for the recreational boats, it's a little bit more than that. It's about $100 a foot per season, but we are putting in for a fee increase, which will be at public hearing on April 22nd.
And who gets the leases? Is it local first?
It's all locals. We do host some transient boats here, like people that come over from the Cape and wherever. And we have some transient slips, and we charge them $15 an hour and $75 a day. We don't allow people to sleep on their boats, but they can come over. We usually just get a lunch crowd. People come over, have lunch, stay 2-3 hours, and we have a big turnover rate on the weekends. It's pretty popular.
All right, so we got damaged in the storm.
Right, yeah. In Storm Juno, we experienced like crazy damage. The worst damage that I've ever seen happen here. The dock, the break wall down at the end, which we'll try to get down there and take a look at it.
Sure.
But that got rocked. We have to replace 60 pilings. We have the floating dock got snapped in like 9 places. All of the fingers got buckled and damaged, and we got a lot of damage.
Can we go and look?
Absolutely.
Now, as we head out to see some of the worst damage, is this decking all going to be replaced?
Not all of it, just the bad spots.
Okay.
There is some boards, obviously, that need to get replaced.
Yeah.
We end up replacing boards every year, but you'll see there's big holes in it as we get further down. This part, from here back to land, didn't experience that much, although we had our water line and our sewage line break in 6 places, just from shore to here. This ramp also got picked up and landed on a piling. Awkwardly, they've already repaired that. That's already been fixed, and you can see how they accessed it here.
Yep.
And it would also snap some timbers underneath there, so they had to replace a couple of the timbers, and they've also picked it up and put it back down to the way it's supposed to be. Here was another place, and this is where you can see where the sewage line broke, and you can also see where the water line broke. And then there was access to electricity, because we're going to have to move our pump-out pump to this end of the dock, because that end's going to be the last part that's finished. The plan is for them to fix the floating dock first, because that's where our commercial boats tie up, so we can get those guys back in business sooner. So we're going to fix the floater first and work on this simultaneously. But that's priority. Then we're going to work from land out to the end, and the end will be the last thing that's done, because that's the most damaged section of the dock. The money was only for pre-storm condition, to bring us back to pre-storm. So this is what it was pre-storm. So what they did is just they're only repairing what got damaged in the storm.
Now, did we have insurance to pay for this?
I don't think so. I don't think that there's insurance.
I see, right. It comes out of our own pocket.
Right. Okay, both of those fingers over there, as I said, those used to be attached to the pier. They buckled, and so the complete section from those pilings to the pier had to be replaced on both sets of those fingers. And we had that happen in several places. And for it to happen this far in shows you how big the seas were and how bad it was. So, as you can imagine, the farther to the east we get, the worse it gets.
How about the docks over at those guys?
At the Nantucket Boat Basin, experienced like $2 million worth of damage too. So anything that was east facing in this storm just took a beating and got brutalized. We experienced some significant damage in Mattakit as well at Jackson's Point. Now you can start to see what happened to the floating dock.
Right.
That happened in a whole bunch of places. It started back there. They fixed that already, and now they've got here. And as you get further to the east, the worse it gets, because from the east we have nothing stopping it. There's nothing to break it down. So you can see here they put these strengtheners in, all these new brackets. You can see the new metal.
Yeah.
And they put like strengtheners on all of these fingers to try to prevent something from happening there again, which is going to be a big help to us in the future if we ever get a storm of that size through here again. But that's a big improvement right there, and they're doing it, as you can see down there they're doing it to all the fingers. This is the second finger out, and you can see all of that needed to be replaced. Down there, down at the end, it buckled in a ton of places down here. And again, they're putting the strengtheners in so it doesn't happen again. But all that decking, as you can see, was all taken up by the construction crew, not by the storm. The storm just buckled it and folded it in half.
Wow, they did take a beating.
It did.
Now, don't you normally pull those up?
No, we pull our dinghy docks, which are out of the water. Those stay in because they're fastened in so many places. And do you see the pile over there where the pile guide looks like it's warped?
Right.
That end of the pier like jumped that piling, and that pile guide was on the other side of the pile. That's a big wave. You haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
Wait till you see the break wall.
Okay. Now, did you have to replace these pipes?
These replates, they haven't been done yet, but they're going to all have to be redone.
All.
Because as I said, it was broke 5 places from the dock.
I see.
Just to the first stop.
So we're replacing all the PVC, electrical, and water lines?
Electrical, sewage, and water lines, because that's usually where our pump out shack got blown right into the water. Yeah, you can see where it all buckled there. It had to be completely replaced.
Now these pilings look a little worn out anyway. Are they?
Right.
Are we replacing a lot of them or not?
We're only replacing the ones that were damaged in the storm, because as I said, the funding was only to bring us back to pre-storm condition.
Yeah.
So the hope is that after we get it fixed, then we're going to start doing maintenance on some of these pilings and replace 10 or so a year.
Would you replace them with the same wooden style, or are they metal ones?
Yeah, no, they're going to have to go to wood.
Yeah.
You know, just so it stays the same.
I see. Wow.
This is some of the worst damage that we got, and this is just the start of it. All these pilings here all got rocked to the west, and they all got knocked this way, so that whole pier got knocked this way. So all those pilings have to be replaced. As you can see, there's stringers that are snapped, broken. The pump out shack got blown into the water. That's usually where the pump out shack goes. And all those stringers underneath all got snapped in half too.
Wow.
The construction crew hasn't even got down here yet. This is what we found the day after the storm.
This is what you found when you first showed up here after the storm?
Right.
It was just like this. Wow.
Just like this, with just popped boards and debris everywhere. And so we cleaned up all the loose debris that we could. It took us probably a week, and we filled like 4 dumpsters full of the debris. But like, that's a huge stringer right there that you can see just got racked and pulled away and snapped. For the whole shed to go into the water with a couple 100-pound pump in it, that we did find. But this whole thing, it's all storm damage. It's not demo by the construction crew at all.
All right, so for everybody out there who's wondering when this is going to get done, Sheila, what are we looking at?
Being optimistic, we're hoping for the beginning of July. You know, before July 15th is our goal.
Yep.
And anything better than that will be a nice surprise.
Now, this weather hasn't helped.
This weather has not
people have to
helped.
understand this is just...
It's been crazy, and like yesterday, they couldn't work. The ferries weren't running. It was blowing 40 knots down here. It wasn't safe for the construction crew or even our guys to be out here working. And so that's backing us up as well. And even after Juno, we experienced a couple more storms. It made it worse than when the engineers came and looked at it initially. We had them out here like 3 days after the storm, but there was storms after that that just made it worse.
All right, well, keep up the good work. We wish you well, and thanks for showing us around.
All right, thank you, Gino.